In the War Room. Welcome to episode 227. Welcome to the War Room. I am your host, Mistress Carrie. Thank you so much for joining me every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern, right here in the War Room. What's going on, everybody? Michelle, Donna, Keith are here. Lisa and Jessica are here. Kevin, Ryan joining us. Michelle and Tracy are here. What's up, Dave? Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Welcome to the War Room. 227 episodes since March 14th of 2020. Kind of hard to believe. And before I forget, next week is going to be a little bit of a special episode because next week we're going to be having the 5th birthday party for this little nugget who turns 5 years old next Tuesday. So Wednesday, we're going to have another birthday party for you next week. Right? Right? Give me that. Yeah. If you're new to the show, yes, this is my dog Wednesday. Yes, we have birthday parties for her. Only when they fall on a Tuesday. It happened on her 2nd birthday, and now it's happening again on her 5th birthday, that it's actually going to fall on a Tuesday so that we can do the show. What are you doing? What are you doing? So welcome to the War Room. Anybody that's new, Heinz is here. Elsa joining us. What's up, Mr. Voorhees? Lisa and Marcy are here. Dawn, good evening. Rachel joining us as well. Yeah, she just wants the treats. That's what, yeah, I totally agree. However, there are some people that might not know who she is. This is Wednesday. That's where you can find her on Instagram at Wednesday the Goth Pug. And she has been my co-host for all 227 episodes and has been my partner in the pandemic the whole time. My 5-year-old pug who now gets her own camera. So for anybody that's new, let us know in the comments that this is your first time in the War Room so that the War Room family can welcome you properly. And if you're not new, welcome back. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Lots going on. What's up? Philip is here. Betty, good evening. Jonathan. Let's see. What's up, Paul and Brendan? Hello, Joe and Carol as well. So lots going on. We got a lot to talk about. The Pike announced another event for September that we got to talk about. Got an update on what's going on at the Bone in Portland, Maine. I got to fill you guys in on all of that. Do want to go over some of the stuff. Hey, can you move over a little bit so I can move my arm? Thank you. Want to go over some of the stuff that happened over the weekend. Want to say what's up to everybody that I got a chance to meet on Friday at opening day at Polar Park. We had some technical difficulties with the broadcast, but it was a great time. The rain held off until almost all the way through the game. It was the Woo Sox home opener at Polar Park. We were broadcasting live. Mike Shue and I got to bump into our old buddy Fitzy that we used to work with over on Guest Street, and it was nice to see him. He came out and hung out in the Sherwood Diner with us for a while. Mike Shue and I also enjoyed, hey, will you move over there and sit down? Get down and be down. Stop scratching me. Mike Shue and I got to indulge in the cake pops in the Sherwood Diner as well, which were absolutely delicious. So this is what happened on Friday. And then on Saturday, I got invited to be one of the MCs at Military Appreciation Night at the DCU Center with the Worcester Railers. This was me on the ice shortly before I absolutely failed at throwing T-shirts out into the crowd because my sore shoulder just was not having it. However, the T-shirt cannon is amazing. So want to say thank you to Adam Webster, who is right there in the orange shirt. He's Mike Shue's co-host on the Pike Morning Show, but he is also the PA announcer at the Railers games. And there are always like 10,000 moving parts happening. But it was awesome to come out. Actually bumped into some of the guys that I was with in Iraq back in 2006 and a couple of the guys that I was with in Afghanistan in 2011. So it was a little bit of a class reunion for us as well. So for everybody that I met at the Woo Sox game and at the Railers game, thank you guys for coming up and hanging out. And it's been nice to be able to get out of the studio. What's up, Keith? And be able to see everybody again, which has been great. And a lot of the local teams are playing fantastic. And the weather kind of held off on Friday, but we had a great time. So If you have not gone to some of the minor league games, if you've never gone to Polar Park to see a Woo Sox game, it's really affordable and it is super family friendly. They even have a thing on Wednesdays where you can bring your dog, which is like unbelievable. And I might have to do that and bring Wednesday to a game. But it's really, really cool. So if you're looking for something to do over the course of the summer with the kids, going to see the Railers, going to see the Woo Sox is awesome. There's always a ton of activities. They make it really affordable for families. And it was an absolute blast. So also want to let you guys know that if you go to my blog at mistresscarrie.com, there are a couple of appearances in other people's podcasts that I want to make sure that you guys know about. I got asked by Buzz Knight, who has been a fixture in Boston radio and just in the radio industry in general for like over 40 years. And Buzz has this really interesting podcast called Taking a Walk, where he actually puts a little lavalier microphone on a little wireless Bluetooth thing. Sit down, and you actually go for a walk with him. And so we went for a walk, and he came to Leominster actually. So I walked him around scenic Leominster, and we just talked music. We talked, radio stuff. We talked about the end of WAF. All of the stuff that you guys have been there with me in the building of over the last 3 years. We talked a lot about that as well. So that's the Taking a Walk podcast with Buzz Knight, and that is available in my blog. And then also, I made another appearance. This is my third appearance on the Film Crickets podcast. And if you're a movie lover, especially a lover of like bad movies a lot of time, the Film Crickets are pretty awesome. And they pick one movie, bring in a guest, and then you talk about that movie. A couple of times they've let me pick the movie, including this time. And I suggested Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band that stars Peter Frampton and the Bee Gees. And I said it in the podcast. Mike Shue hates this movie. I absolutely adore this movie, as cheesy and kitschy as it is. And I told them on Film Crickets, I am going to defend this to the death. And I did, but some really interesting factoids about this movie that we all grew up watching on Channel 56. If you've never seen it, it's a thing. It basically is all of the 70s put in a blender and then poured on film, because it stars, we wouldn't have the Aerosmith cover of The Beatles Come Together without this movie. But once again, I had a great time coming on with the Film Crickets. So both of these podcasts that I was a guest on, you can get more details on and listen to the episodes if you go to my blog at mistresscarrie.com. So Wednesday is still sitting here obediently waiting for more treats and cookies, right? Are you just sitting there? Can I have a high five? Can I have another high five? Okay, down. There you go. All right. We got a lot more stuff to talk about, including, want to make sure before we get too late into the show, because every time we run late, I don't want to miss people. And the reminder that coming up on May 6th, we're just a month away, the big Cocktails in the War Room on deployment bonus episode is taking place at the Vernon Hill American Legion post 435. We're going to be doing a special Saturday episode of the show. The event is from 5 to 9. It's going to be at the American Legion. And this is your excuse to get all of your battle buddies together, the people that you always swear you're going to get together for a beer, and then it never happens. And then unfortunately, more often than not, it's a somber occasion like a funeral that gets you together. And then everybody at a funeral, and I can't even count the times this has happened to me, we need to get together more often. We need to get together for something happy, and then you never do. So we want to use this event for a bunch of different reasons. It's an event to get military and our veterans together. It's an opportunity for civilians to come out and show their support for a bunch of veteran-owned initiatives, including Regimental Whiskey, and also author and Marine veteran Andy Biggio, who wrote the book The Rifle, is going to be there signing copies of the book. And I believe he's bringing some of the World War II veterans that he wrote about in The Rifle and in the upcoming sequel the rifle too. So Andy Biggio is going to be there. So if you don't have a copy of the rifle yet, or maybe you want to get a copy signed and be able to give it to somebody for Father's Day or for their birthday, or if you want to just kind of set it aside for the holidays, this is a perfect example. I think it's going to be $10 to get in. Everything benefits the Legion. There's also going to be raffles. You can win concert tickets. I think there's going to be a 50-50. There's going to be food trucks, live entertainment. There's a huge parking lot. Hopefully the weather's going to be nice. It'll make for a perfect motorcycle riding destination. And the event is from 5 to 9. The War Room bonus episode is going to go live from just 7 to 8 that night. What's up, Travis? So make sure you guys have this day blocked off. Make sure you've got your War Room gear on. There are going to be some War Room t-shirts and stuff for sale at the event. But this is a way for us to kind of come out and show support for our military and veterans, and also just to kind of get together with all of the people that you interact with here in the War Room that you may not know personally, but that you want to get to know and finally meet in person. This is where we're all meeting. The American Legion, post 435 in Worcester. Down. Get down. Paw. Can I have your paw? Can I have the other paw? Okay, this is it. This is it, Wednesday. This is it. There's no more. No more. You see? There's no more cookies. They're all gone now. So write it down. May 6th. It's happening. We're taking the War Room on the road again. Super excited about it. A new event got announced by 100 FM The Pike. They always do 2 big kind of tribute band music festivals. One of them is the Hair Fest. That one happens earlier in the year. And then Rock Fest always happens in September. Both of them are at Indian Ranch. This one just got announced. Tickets don't even go on sale until Saturday. Love Sexy. The Prince tribute is going to be playing. Also, Best of Foo is going to be playing. Best Shot, the Pat Benatar tribute. Speedwagon, the REO Speedwagon tribute, and also who was the other one that's playing? Hold on. Oh, Heartless, the Heart tribute. So like I said, tickets are on sale. Chuck Perks, Mike Shue, and I are always there to host this. This is up on the event calendar at mistresscarrie.com, but tickets go on sale this week, and that goes with some of the other events that have already been announced, including the Hair Fest, which is happening August 19th, and the Big Gig, which is coming up fast at the end of the month. This is April 29th at the DCU Center. Hey, they're all gone. Shush. This is April 29th, Breaking Benjamin, Falling in Reverse, The Pretty Reckless, Beartooth, and Dorothy. Tickets are on sale now for the Big Gig, and you can get all of the details at pikefm.com, or you can just go to the Mistress Carrie event page, and all of those details are going to be up there as well. Okay, last week we were talking about my big announcement about taking over another radio station, 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine, and we were supposed to start yesterday, and we've been having some engineering issues. They made a bunch of upgrades to a lot of the software and a lot of the technology that runs the studios, and making all of those upgrades. Anybody that works in any kind of corporate job knows that when they go in to upgrade the systems, that there's always bugs to work out. And so they're in the bug working out. Oh, I'm going to get Wednesday's toys. They're working out all the bugs right now. And so incorporating MCHQ into their universe has been a little more difficult than we had anticipated. So we're hoping we're going to get the bugs worked out over the next couple of days. I will let you guys know, obviously via social media. If you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you'll know as well when it's going to go live, but it is going to happen in the next few days. So super excited about that. Brendan says Foo Fighters tribute band sounds interesting. I mean, they've got so many hit songs. It's like the band could play for 3 hours like the Foo Fighters do, and every single one of them would be like a top 20 hit. All right, let's get to our cocktail recipe of the week. For anybody that's new to the War Room, every week I dig through the cocktail recipe books that I have here in the War Room, and try to make use of some of the alcohol that may be gathering a little bit of dust. Maybe people left some bottles of liquor around after a party or the holidays, and it's not something you would normally want to use. And I'm hoping that maybe if I give you guys some cocktail recipes to kind of spark your imagination into becoming a mixologist. Wednesday just took off because there's no more cookies. Go ahead, run away. There's no more cookies. It's okay. So today, because it's spring and the weather has been warm and we're going to hit the 70s this week in Massachusetts, I suggested the New England iced tea. Now, a lot of people know the Long Island iced tea. This is the New England iced tea. It contains an ounce of vodka, an ounce of triple sec, an ounce of gold tequila, an ounce of light rum, an ounce of gin, an ounce of fresh lime juice, and an ounce of the gome syrup. And it says to shake the ingredients except the cranberry juice and then strain into an ice-filled highball glass, fill it up with cranberry juice, stir, and serve. And that is called the New England iced tea. And basically it just should be called I Need a Nap, because between the vodka, the triple sec, the tequila, the rum, and the gin, there's a lot of mixing in there that could be very dangerous. Steven said there's a separate bar area and window service available in the main hall area. I'm assuming you guys are talking about the American Legion, that there's a big function room and then there's the whole bar area on the other side, plus a massive parking lot. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, Marcy said, I was wondering about you not being on the bone. It's an engineering thing. It's a technology thing. We're working on it. It's still 100% happening. We're just trying to figure it out. Eric says, I've never tried the New England iced tea. Neither had I. You're a booze bully, says Byron. I thought it was a lot. And you guys know I'm not a gin lover. You guys also know that when I drink tequila, things get sideways really fast. So, yeah, all of that with some lime juice, some of the gome syrup, and some cranberry juice. Yeah, that's a lot. I bet it's pretty good. It's one of those things that like you throw the kitchen sink on it and then it tastes delicious. Jessica says, I'm listening to Linkin Park's song Lost, and it's so sad without Chester Bennington. Jessica, we'll talk about Linkin Park coming up because the new Meteora box set is coming out this Friday. Steven says the parking lot is not that big. It's big enough. And, well, we're showing up in force, so we're going to have to figure it out. You know what? I don't mind if we got to park cars all the way down the street, if we're making a spectacle of it. I hope that the police have to show up to direct traffic because there's so many veterans and so many people that want to support our veterans community that come out to the American Legion. I hope this event is so freaking big that the next time we want to do it, we go, oh my God, where are we going to put all the people? Good problem to have. I would rather that 100 times out of 100 than having an event and have nobody show up. So we'll figure it out one way or the other. Donna, those are the three. No gin, no dairy, no eggs. Mike Shue and I actually had a discussion when we went out for dinner a couple of weeks ago about drinks that have eggs in them. And we were talking to the bartender and they were like, bartenders hate making egg drinks because they have to be made in a very specific order so that people don't get sick. It's like eating that puffer fish where if it's cooked right, it's delicious. And if it's cooked bad, you die. I'm all set with it. I need someone to send me all the cocktails. I am going to try all of them, says Keith. That is trouble in a glass, says Mark. Exactly. Mark says it's big enough. That's what she said. Let's see. Brianna says, well, and an adios motherfucker. That's a Long Island iced tea with blue curacao instead of triple sec. I don't know what it's, look, they call it a New England iced tea. Maybe because it has cranberry juice. I don't know. It doesn't have Coke in it. I thought Long Island iced teas had a splash of Coke in them. Michelle says, cannot wait. Keith and I need this. We can't wait to see you. So really excited about getting everybody together. And maybe we could talk the bartenders into making some New England iced teas. All right, we got to talk about the podcast. Last week's episode 147, Villy Valu from Vivi and him. Villy was just at Big Night Live in Boston over the weekend. And if you are a him fan, if you love goth rock, if you love that kind of goth 80s vibe, you definitely know who Villy is. And the last couple of weeks, the podcast guests have been from that Scandinavian part of the world, Finland and Sweden. And it really is kind of interesting. And Villy and I talked about it, about why that part of the world likes their music so melancholy. And, he was talking kind of like Seattle. It's weather-based, that it's dark a lot of the year because of how high up, or not high, but how north they are, how cold it is. That a lot of really dark kind of gothic music, a lot of death metal comes out of that area, Norway, obviously. And getting to know Villy was very cool. I did not get to see him in the dressing room with his pants off. If you listen to the end of the episode, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you didn't hear the end of the episode, it's the first time that I got to interview him, and he was really cool. We hit it off. Can't wait to have him back on the show. I look at people like Villy, like Perry Farrell. There are just those creatives that just look at the world and see something different than a lot of other people do. And they are, it's like somebody as brilliant as someone like John Williams, the composer, who just kind of hears this symphony coming out of the world that the rest of us don't even notice. And I think Villy, I think Perry Farrell, and it's not just music for them. It's all art forms. It's graphic art. It's illustration. It's visuals. Someone like Perry Farrell looked at the music industry and the music festival industry and saw something that no one else saw and invented Lollapalooza. And did it in the early 90s when no one else had really thought about taking a festival and putting it on the road. And so you just look at someone like that as being so brilliant and so artistic and so creative, and that they're able to tap into a part of themselves that, a lot of the rest of us either are unable to or we're unwilling to. To be an artist like this and to really be able to take chances and try things, you have to not be afraid to fail, and you have to not be afraid of ridicule. And Villy Valu is one of those people that, is just definitely not afraid of those things. And so if you haven't listened to the episode 147 features Villy Valu from Vivi and him, and it's available now. This week's episode, I'm super excited for you guys to listen to. I have told you guys in the past, I think in the early days of the War Room, that I almost died at a concert once, and it was the Spin Doctors, Soul Asylum, and the Screaming Trees at Riverside Park in Agawam, Massachusetts, before it became Six Flags, when they used to have a racetrack back there, and they used to do outdoor concerts in the summer. And the Spin Doctors started playing Two Princes, and everyone started jumping up and down and kind of started this mosh pit thing, and I almost got crushed to death. It's one of the only times I've ever crowd surfed in my life, and it was out of pure necessity to get out of the crowd. And I told Dave Pirner from Soul Asylum that very story. So Dave Pirner, the lead singer and guitar player from Soul Asylum, is my guest this week. Super excited. I caught up with him while he was home in Minneapolis. We talked a lot about that region of the country, about Minneapolis, about Green Bay, Wisconsin, where his mom is from. I mistakenly thought that he was from Green Bay, but he just spent a lot of time there as a kid because that's where his mom was from. I had some local references to share with him because my husband is from northern Wisconsin. So we talked about that a little bit. But we also talked about New Orleans and song inspiration and songwriting. And we talked about travel and food, and also that he's getting ready to celebrate the band's 30th anniversary on MTV Unplugged. And they're doing it in Minneapolis on 4/20, which just happens to be a couple days before Record Store Day on the 22nd, which Soul Asylum always take part in as well. So if you are kind of a 90s era grunge and alternative music fan, he is just, one of those people that's kind of woven into the fabric of that era. The band has got so many hits. They're still out on the road, and he's just a super kind of laid back guy that is kind of an open book, and it was really awesome to get to know him. So Marcy says, awesome. Jessica says, I love those guys. Okay, how far is Six Flags from Boston? Eric, it depends. It's a straight shot out the pike almost from Boston. And as long as you don't get stuck in some kind of weird traffic getting by 84, which goes down to Hartford, if you're going for an event or if you're just going on a really busy day for Six Flags, you could sit in some traffic as you're kind of navigating your way through Springfield to get to Agawam. I would give it a couple hours. You may not need all 2 hours, but I would give it a couple hours. And then, also anybody that's ever been to one of those big amusement parks, the parking lots are huge, getting in, getting ticketing, all of that kind of stuff. So if you're planning on going from downtown Boston to Six Flags in Agawam, I would give it a couple hours. If I'm wrong, you guys chime in on the comments for sure. Did he mention Nirvana? Jessica wants to know. We didn't really focus on that. We were kind of talking more about kind of what was going on with Soul Asylum. And then he referenced a lot of like the method behind the songwriting of a lot of the early songs. But no, I don't think we talked about Nirvana. What's up, Mr. Tallman? Michael says about an hour and 45. Yeah, so depending on if you get stuck in a little bit of traffic or whatever. Mark says, Carrie, did you see Jelly Roll win the CMT Awards a few nights ago? So yes, I did want to talk about this. We could talk about it now. It's totally fine. The CMT Awards on Sunday night were basically a rock show. And first of all, Jelly Roll played his new single, Need a Favor, which there is a country version. There's also a rock version that got sent out to rock stations that has a little less twangy guitar and a little more electric guitar. But he brought a whole gospel choir with the full robes, which was amazing. His performance, I've seen Jelly Roll a few times now, and seeing him in a theater like the Palladium, right, was amazing. When I got to see him play in front of Shinedown's crowd as the opening act, he was overwhelmed by how big the crowds were on the Shinedown tour because he had never played in front of a crowd that big ever. When I watched Jelly Roll play on the CMT Awards, I had this pride feeling for him, but I also had this feeling like I was watching someone at a moment in their career where things were changing instantaneously. Jelly Roll has been on a high, having the number one song at country, having a number one song at rock, going from the beginning of this time last year, playing places the size of the Palladium, and then going out with Shinedown. And within a year, putting an amphitheater tour of his own up for sale and selling out in a lot of places. I just had this amazing feeling for him that all of the things that he always dreamed about are now coming true. And you could see it in the look on his face at the CMT Awards. He ended up, for anybody that doesn't know, CMT is Country Music Television. It's basically the country version of MTV. But the awards are all voted on by the fans. And so he won 3 CMT Awards, including Best Male Performance Video, which is a huge deal. But the CMT Awards, they featured Jelly Roll and a performance. They featured the Leonard Skinner tribute, which a lot of people say, oh, well, Leonard Skinner's kind of a country band or at least a Southern rock band. But the All-Star tribute featured Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, Slash from Guns N' Roses, Peter Frampton. It also featured members of the Allman Brothers and Paul Rogers from Bad Company. And that was insane. Then the Robinson Brothers came out with Darius Rucker to do a version of She Talks to Angels. And then Gary Clark Jr. came out to do a tribute to Stevie Ray Vaughan. There was so much rock music in the CMT Awards. It's kind of insane. And all of the performances are up on YouTube. If you didn't get a chance to see them, I didn't watch the CMT Awards. I just waited. I kept tabs on it on Twitter. And obviously when I saw, that Jelly Roll had won, I went back and watched his unbelievably emotional acceptance speeches. I'm not a lover of country music, so I fast forwarded through a lot of the stuff that I didn't really care about. But obviously, all of the rock performances and watching Jelly Roll accept those awards was kind of insane. So you guys know that when it comes to the podcast, when it comes to a lot of things that I've explained it to you guys, that it's all about relationships, and that I really try to go out of my way to make this as less business as possible, because to me, these relationships are real and they're true. And these friendships and the artists that I've known, that I've come up with through my career, are relationships that I treasure. And so to watch people that I have seen start at their first record, like Disturbed just released their 8th album, same thing with Godsmack, that there are just these bands that are just doing so much amazing stuff that I've known for so long. Even though I haven't known Jelly Roll all that long, it's kind of unbelievable, everything that is happening with him. So super excited. That brings me to this announcement. The podcast got a new sponsor this week, which I'm super excited to tell you guys about. You may remember on an early episode of the podcast, I talked to my friend Sarah Hagen, who used to work for Zildjian Cymbals. And she's a drummer. She was on the podcast, and we talked a lot about cymbal construction, the history of cymbal making, the art of matching specific cymbals to specific drummers to make sure that the drummer is getting the sound that they want. Well, I'm excited to say that Sarah Hagen is now one of the owners of a new cymbal company called Royal Cymbals. And they are now a sponsor of the Mistress Carrie podcast. And I'm super excited to have them. They custom make custom cymbals in small batches. They can also make modifications to cymbals you already have, so that if you've got a bunch of cymbals, but they don't sound exactly right, and you don't want to go in and buy all new ones, maybe they just need to be tweaked a little bit, hammered out a little bit, have the cymbals reshaped, I should say. That Royal Cymbals does all of those things, but they're a new locally owned company. They are made in America. And like I said, they are a female owned business as well. She's 50% partner. And it's not very often that there is an instrument manufacturer that is partially woman owned, and women started from the ground up. And so I was really excited that she wanted to be part of the podcast. So, yeah, if you guys want to check them out, you can find them at royalcymbals.com. There's intro videos to kind of show you. I mean, I'm talking blacksmithing, hammering, making cymbals by hand. And the art of cymbal making is over 400 years old, and they're doing it the old school way, which is kind of exciting. So welcome to the Mistress Carrie podcast, my newest sponsor, Royal Cymbals, made right here in the Commonwealth. And you can check out the links in the show notes of every episode, and you can also just go to royalcymbals.com for more details. When you listen to the podcast and you subscribe to the podcast, you not only get the weekly episodes, but you also get the situation report, which is Monday through Friday. It's around 5 minutes. Sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 7, sometimes it's 4. It depends on what's going on in music. But it's all your rock news specifically, then headlines in music overall, and then entertainment updates. And that could be anything from streaming movies, streaming services, television shows. It could be technology-based stuff. But you're going to get all of this every weekday in under or around 5 minutes or so. And the sit rep goes live really early in the morning. So no matter how early you're getting up in the morning, you can work it into your daily routine. Listen to the sit rep, get caught up with all the entertainment and music headlines while you're making coffee, while you're dropping the kids off at school, while you're in the shower, putting your makeup on, whatever it is that you're doing. Mike Shue told me he listens while he's driving to work at the Pike every morning. And it helps them do a show prep. And I've heard that a lot of radio DJs actually use the sit rep for that exact purpose because they know that I record the sit rep the night before, like later on in the night before. So if news breaks late at night, it's usually in the sit rep the next morning. If you're wondering where you can listen to the Mistress Carrie podcast, all of these are examples of places where you can listen, and this isn't even all of them. And now all of the episodes of the Mistress Carrie podcast are available on my official YouTube channel as well. But all of the big podcast places, I got an update. The Alexa skill is almost done. There have been a lot of technical issues. There was some staff turnover with the company that's actually putting it together. So I'm hoping by the end of the month that it is going to be up and running and you'll be able to tell Alexa to play the podcast and it'll work like that. So that is in the works and I will let you guys know as soon as that goes live. But the podcast is available everywhere. And if you don't use podcast apps, if you don't listen to podcasts on YouTube, you can always go to mistresscarrie.com, click play on the player, and you can listen to any episode that you want. The podcast locations, the count is still, look at Wednesday sitting over here in the back. The count is still at 149 countries. So still the number one country for listenership is the United States. Canada, Germany, England are still, kind of rounding out the top 5. Same thing with Australia. But 149 countries overall have interacted with the Mistress Carrie podcast, which is pretty spectacular. All right, we got a ton of music headlines to get to. Both of these shows are available. They are on sale. They went on sale this past Friday. Godsmack and Stained at the Xfinity Center. It's on sale. Went on sale this past Friday, March 31st. Avenged Sevenfold and Alexis on Fire. That one's July 19th. That went on sale last Thursday at 10 a.m., but both of these shows are on sale and they have been added to the event calendar along with a ton of other shows, including Incubus, who's going to be up at the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion. Just a ton of shows. Boston Calling, actually the Foo Fighters, which this was originally the first date that they announced without Taylor Hawkins. Then they announced they were going to play the Wednesday before Boston Calling up at the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion. The Foo Fighters announcing today that they are opening up their own club, their own rock club, which is going to be right next to the 930 Club, which is a legendary music venue in Washington, D.C. And it's going to be called the Atlantis. It's going to hold 450 people. And they're doing this whole thing where they've got all of these artists that are going to be, they're doing 44 shows for $44 or something like that, celebrating the 44th birthday of the 930 Club. And the 930 Club to DC is kind of like what, like the Channel or the Rat kind of was to Boston, kind of like what CBGB's kind of was to New York. It's that rock club that kind of a lot of bands worked their way up and worked their way through, that if you were an up and coming rock band over the last 30 to 40 years, and you were out on the road, you probably played the 930 Club. I saw Slipknot in there when they toured on the first record, and it was a complete shit show. Tom says, hey, Carrie, just got in. What's the topic? I don't know, Tom. We covered a lot of stuff in a really short period of time, so I can't tell you exactly what we were talking about. 149 countries. Jessica says, still impressed. Brett says, I saw George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic play the 930 Club, went until 2:30 in the morning. Yeah, the 930 Club is famous for shit like that. And now the Foo Fighters are going to have a club right next door. So the Foos are going to be headlining night number 1 of Boston Calling, and this is happening Memorial Day weekend at the Harvard Athletic Complex in Boston. Big Night Live has got a couple more shows, or at least rock and metal shows. Enslaved is going to be there on Thursday, and then Tarja is going to be there on June 18th. Those tickets are on sale for both of those shows. Where did Wednesday go? Oh, here she is right here. The Xfinity Center, a ton of shows. Dave Matthews, Avenged Sevenfold, Bret Michaels Party Gras, Godsmack and Stained, Mudvayne, Jelly Roll, the aforementioned Jelly Roll, who just last year opened up for Shinedown at the Xfinity Center. Now he's coming back to headliner show there, which is just unbelievable. That's August 4th. Foreigner, August 5th. Disturbed and Ginger, with more bands getting announced. That's August 18th. Ghost is August 19th. Nickelback, August 22nd. Offspring on September 3rd. There's a lot of shows coming to the Xfinity Center. The concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com is literally full. Not just with all the shows coming to Massachusetts, but I've been trying to put all of the shows for New England. Shows all the way down to Bridgeport, Connecticut and Hartford. Shows up into Maine and New Hampshire and Rhode Island. There's just a ton. Blink-182 at the Garden on May 21st. Queen and Adam Lambert at the Garden coming up on October 16th. Those tickets went on sale this past Friday as well. Avatar coming up at the Paradise on May 24th. Godsmack sold out the Mohegan Sun Arena. That's happening at the end of May. Coherd and Cambria. What the fuck? Why does it keep doing that? Hold on. I got to fix Coherd and Cambria. For anybody that's new to the War Room, you got to fix the typos. And when there's a typo on the screen, you got to drink a social. Coheed and Cambria at Roadrunner on May 4th. Aaron Lewis is going to be at Foxwoods coming up on April 22nd. And then obviously Stained is going to be with Godsmack later this year at the Xfinity Center. Anxiously awaiting the first single from the upcoming Stained album, which is coming sooner than later. We know they've been working on it, putting the finishing touches on it. Shows coming up at the Palladium, including Friday night, Queensryche, Nothing More is going to be there on Saturday night. Wage War is going to be May 12th. Rival Sons, if you've never seen them, unbelievable. That's May 31st. Weezer, Outdoors at the Palladium. Those tickets are already on sale. That's happening July 1st. Wednesday has begun snoring. We're at the snoring portion of the show. The MGM Music Hall adding some more shows, but the Pixies, Les Claypool, Yellow Card, Noel Gallagher, Newfound Glory just got added. That's August 18th. That tour just got announced. Mastodon and Gojira adding a second show. The first show sold out on August 20th. The second show is August 21st. Back on September 5th. Other music headlines include the House of Blues with the Joe Perry Project coming up on the 16th. Thrice is going to be there June 2nd, and the Struts will be there on July 18th. So just a ton of shows getting announced. New releases coming out include, we were talking about it a little bit earlier, Linkin Park celebrating the 20th anniversary of the album Meteora. Now, imagine you're Linkin Park and you're a bunch of 18-year-old kids, and nu metal is kind of, the thing, late 90s, early 2000s, and you release an album like Hybrid Theory, your debut album, and it goes diamond, meaning it sells 10 million copies in the US alone. And then you've got to follow that up. Well, they released Meteora, and it sold over 7 million copies, which is insane. The 20th anniversary box set has got previously unreleased songs. It's got live performances. It's got demos. It has 89 songs in total, and it comes out this Friday. Mudhoney is releasing Plastic Eternity on Friday, and Susanna Hoffs from the Bangles is releasing her new solo album called The Deep End. Those all come out on Friday as well. All right, we got to get to the mail call. It's why Wednesday's been sitting over here. Right, Wednesday? So I got these letters in first. So I want to read the letter first. And it says this one first. So I was like, okay, I'll read this one first. It's from Brian. Says, it's 4:30. I'm sitting on Daytona Beach, as I do almost every day lately, listening to your show on the Pike. Realize that I forgot to include a letter to go with the shirts that I sent you. So I am going to cut my beach time short, jump on the bike, head to the post office. Hopefully this letter arrives at the same time. Brian, it did. P.S. Also included in your package is a Bike Week sweatshirt customized for you. I told the clerk you liked skulls. So then the other part of the letter is Brian talking about how he sold his house in Massachusetts, how he moved down to Florida. He is in the gallery for Show Me Your MC because he had a Mistress Carrie koozie and he was sitting on Cocoa Beach watching Elon Musk launch rockets. So he wrote me like this really long letter with some personal stuff in there that I'm not going to share. But and the letters that he sent, sorry to interrupt your beach time, Brian, having to go to the post office. So then he sent this giant package, which first of all came with a purple toy for Wednesday, right? Wednesday. He also had a sweatshirt made for me from Daytona Beach Bike Week, which has skulls on the side of the hoodie. Like, how cool is that? And then the front, too, raising the hoodie game. And this sweatshirt is safe for me to wear after I go and see Linda and get my hair dyed, which is happening tomorrow. Because then I don't have to worry about it bleeding all over everything. So this is kind of awesome. No, this is not T-shirt Brian. This is War Room Brian. Ooh, sorry, Wednesday. He also, it's this Brian. Says, just showing off my MC swag on Cocoa Beach. And this one says, love it when they open the drawbridge for us. Doing a little fishing down there. As you can see, he's living his best life in Florida. Yeah, it looks like he's having a terrible time down there. And this is a shot of the rocket. Check that out. Now, when the space shuttles used to get launched in Florida, there was actually a skydiving drop zone, and you could pay big money to get on the plane with all the other skydivers, and they would let you out of the plane just as the rockets were up in the air so that you could take pictures with the rocket launch behind you with the space shuttle. I don't know if they do that now with these new rockets that are going up, but it's pretty badass. All right. Brian also sent me some T-shirts. This one from Bike Week. And he also hooked me up with a Bruce Springsteen tour shirt from this year, which is unbelievable because anybody that's tried to go and see Bruce Springsteen on this tour knows that the tickets are like near impossible to get. So, Brian, you rock. This is amazing. Wednesday says thank you for the squeaky toy. And now I'm going to have to talk to T-shirt Brian about what it would take to screen the sides of a hoodie, because that would be kind of awesome. I'm assuming basically it's by color and by passes under the machine. So my assumption is that it would not be cheap to mass produce, but it's pretty badass. So thank you, Brian. All right. Then I got this box from Ralph with a new purple doggy for Wednesday. What's this Wednesday? What's that? Huh? See how mellow she gets when she knows the cookies are gone? She just sits back there, lurking. That's a Maynard James Keenan quote, lurking like a stalking butler. Yeah, exactly. There's also some treats. Look at her. Now she's awake. Who's awake now? Wednesday. You can't have those right now. And Ralph also sent me this massive box of Pez, including Peeps. And I don't have this one for Easter. There's a lamb one. There's bunny rabbit one I don't have. Every year they come out with different bunnies, different chickies. Let's see what else is in here. There's a yellow peep. Didn't have the pink peep. Didn't have the yellow peep. There's this bunny. Some Valentine's Pez. Then there's this bunny, which I did not have. Wanted to give you guys a garden update. I'll put up pictures. I rototilled over the garden yesterday. So I have gone against the advice of my friend's old Portuguese dad. The peas are not in the ground yet. Until yesterday, there was snow in my garden. So it was kind of hard to plant the peas. However, the garden has been tilled over and the peas will be in the ground by the end of the week. It's going to happen. But Ralph also sent me a bunch of hot peppers. You guys know I can't handle heat and I'm going to torture myself. So he sent me this hot pepper, Hungarian yellow wax hot peppers. He sent me, these are Anaheim chili hot peppers. Let's see, Italian pepperoncinis, dragon cayenne, jalapenos, a hot salsa blend, and also mild jalapenos, which I could probably handle in a margarita or something, or making some poppers out of them. So I'm going to put some peppers in the ground. I will put the peas in the ground, and I will keep you updated. But the garden is getting ready. Took the rototiller out, turned over the thing. I just got to put the pictures up. So that's all from Ralph. So thanks, Ralph. Wednesday, say thank you. Thanks, Ralph, for my toys. Say thank you. All right. And then the last thing has been getting teased here in the War Room for a while. Finally came in today, and this is insane how cool this is. So this came from Melissa. Melissa called the Graphite Pen and Pencil Company. And if you guys are regular listeners of the Mistress Carrie podcast, it comes up pretty frequently that bands are making cassettes again. And I have joked with bands that if you're going to make new cassettes, that those cassettes, when people buy them, should come with an accompanying pencil to help solve the inevitable cassette problems. And no band that I know of has taken me up on that yet. So Melissa made them for me. They are the Mistress Carrie Cassette Rewinder Purple Pencil, Purple Eraser pencils. And she ordered me a whole freaking box of them. How cool is that? Michael says those peppers are best when they burn twice. Oof, Jeff, you're right. Awesome gifts for sure. All I can hear outside are, let's see, Wednesday, like, okay, Mom, put me down now. Yeah, exactly. Keep those hot peppers away from any other peppers that you're planting. Otherwise, you don't want a surprise. Yeah, exactly. Melissa says, finally, you got it. Yay. The pencils are so cool. So she told me that she bought a whole box of them so that I could put them up in the store. And so earlier today, I put them up in the store. And so anytime you order anything in the online store, you can put one of these on your order for $1. And they are a Mistress Carrie Cassette Rewinder pencil. And Melissa, thankfully, you put the actual shipping order in here because there's a batch number and an order number. And when this batch is gone, I'm reordering these exactly the way you designed them because they're amazing. And people are going to love them, and I can't wait. So it's called an Add a Pencil on the website. So no matter what you do, no matter what you buy, if you go through all the things in the store, you'll see Add a Pencil. And that's what this is. You can add a pencil for $1, and they're purple pencils that are, I mean, you could sharpen it if you wanted to, but this is for your cassettes officially. It's been branded that way. They're purple. They're custom. They got the website. Melissa, you're amazing. And I like died when I opened it because Melissa has been telling me that I sent you 144 of something. And I was like, 144? Like, what could she possibly send me 144 of? And then when I went to the post office, I was like, 144 of something. Like, is that going to be in a giant box? And when they came out with the box, I was like, there's 144 something in that box? Yeah. Cassette rewinders. It's official. These are fucking amazing. Rachel says that is so cool. Ben says, yes, the cross pollen. I can verify the mixed spicy bell peppers. Hey, Auntie Ange. Hey, can you guys do me a favor and wish Auntie Ange a happy birthday? It was her birthday over the weekend. Wish Auntie Ange a happy birthday. My cousin Michael's birthday, his 50th was yesterday. So wish Auntie Ange a happy birthday for me. Rachel says, are you still collecting rubber duckies? Yes, I am, Rachel. I have a rubber ducky bathroom dedicated just to the ducks. Let's see, the pencil fights like we did in junior high school. So I still have in this arm right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's a little dot. It's from getting stabbed with a pencil in junior high school when we got into pencil fights. Let's see. Happy 31st birthday, Auntie, says Brianna. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. By the way, guys, I'm not talking out of turn because it's all official now. Auntie Ange, who, if you're new to the show, you might not know, Auntie Ange is my godmother. She's a regular here in the War Room. You may have met her because she comes out and helps me with my merchandise, which, Auntie Ange, we need to talk because the big gig's coming up and some other stuff is coming up. But she's my godmother, and she and my Uncle Ralph were my parents' best friends. And so I grew up with Auntie Ange and Uncle Ralph's kids, like family, even though we're not really blood related, but I call her Auntie Ange. You know how it goes. Auntie Ange is about to become a great grandmother this year, which is unbelievable. Super excited. The baby shower is coming up. And my cousin Kim, Auntie Ange's daughter, her and I grew up similar in age and hung out together. Kim is getting ready to become a grandmother. And Auntie Ange is going to be a great grandmother, which is unreal. Let's see. Carol says, very nice. So cool, says Jeff. So, Melissa, you are a freaking rock star. It's unbelievable, this idea. You are so freaking cool. Couldn't love him more if I tried. And it gave me a great idea because this pencil place also makes contractor pencils, like those flat pencils, and they print on those too. I don't know if they come in purple though, but it's pretty awesome. Let's see. Yeah, Auntie Ange saying, baby, baby, baby. Let's see. So awesome. Congratulations to all. Congratulations, Auntie Ange. In May, it might be May 6th. Wednesday, what are you eating? That's a piece of cardboard. You can't have that. It could be May. No, it's not going to be May 6th. May 6th is on the calendar. American Legion. Jen wants to know what size shirt I take. Jen, it depends. If they're like just regular t-shirts, like a medium. If they're women's t-shirts, like a large, I think. But you guys know, like my t-shirts, the ladies' t-shirts on the website, they run a size small. So I wear an extra large Mistress Carrie t-shirt because those women's shirts run a size small for some reason, which is so weird. Denise says, I need the pencil because I have a few cassettes that need to be rewinded. So hilarious. Baby's coming the end of June. Baby's not coming the day we're taking the War Room on the road, so don't even worry about it. But all I meant was that it was safe to talk about now because she's far enough along in her pregnancy where everybody knows now, which is pretty exciting. So that's everything that came in the mail call. You guys are amazing. Wednesday appreciates all the toys. I'm going to be spending time unpackaging Pez dispensers. Thank you, Ralph. And Brian, thank you for the unbelievable stuff from Daytona Bike Week. It is on my bucket list to go to all of the big bike weeks, Myrtle Beach, Daytona, Sturgis. I've obviously been to Laconia many times, but a lot of the other ones, including Myrtle Beach, always happen in May. And when you work in radio, that's part of a ratings period, so it's kind of hard to get time off then. So no chewing on the pencils, says Mark Wednesday. You don't get pencils. Those aren't for you. Let's see. You can make mixed drinks with the hot pepper, says Ralph. Ralph, trust me, I have got friends that literally have no taste buds, that I have seen put the hottest of hot peppers, hot sauces, all of that on their food, and they are all about it. And I am totally fine with growing the peppers, with making salsa out of them, with making like spicy Bloody Marys and spicy margaritas out of them, and making jalapeno poppers and all of that stuff. It's just, I'm a wimp. Like when I eat Indian food or when I go and get like Mexican food, like at a real restaurant that makes it right, I always have to tell them, like, take it easy on me because I'm pathetic. So yeah, exactly. All right, Wednesday, I'll keep petting you. What else is going on? Oh, in the online store, the guitar picks are also in the store. Those are available now. And I got an update from my friend, the Coasters. These are the new Slate Cocktails in the War Room coasters. They're actual slate with velvet on the back to protect your bar tops, your tables. They are in production and should be done by this weekend. They are real slate etched in with a laser, and they are going to be available in the store in the next couple of weeks. But the guitar picks are already available, and the new coasters are going to be available soon. Record Store Day is coming up on April 22nd. It's the music industry's way of supporting locally owned, independently owned brick and mortar record stores. And we got a great one right in Worcester on Main Street, right down the street from the Palladium, Joe's Albums. So if you're going to be out and about in that area of Worcester, pop into Joe's Albums, tell them I said hi, and make sure you check out the Mistress Carrie rack that is right there when you walk in. That's got new picks. I'm going to call them and have them, the Meteora box set, have them put it in that, the vinyl version of it. So just stop in and see Joe's Albums or go to joesalbums.com because he's got the website that you can order right off of, and he has also got the location in Northampton as well. So David says, I feel you. Spicy food messes me up. Nice rack, says Mark. Thank you. Michael says, Texas Twinkies, great use for those jalapenos. Yeah, 100%. And as long as it's got some dairy in there, whether it's cheese or sour cream, that helps to cut the heat down because I am super wimpy when it comes to that. Brianna says, no, Keith, no spicy booze, bad for me. Yeah, exactly. But you can make like infused vodka and like really spicy infused tequila. And I have friends that drink that stuff and they are just all about it. And I'll make it. And I love looking up recipes and coming up with stuff. Like I make these amazing sweet and spicy pickles. And it's an Emeril Lagasse recipe. And it's filled with chili peppers that get pickled along with the pickles and mustard seed, onions, all of that stuff. I make them all the time. They're fantastic on a steak and cheese. But I can eat like one of them because I'm that much of a wimp. So, see, Ash says, give me all the hots. Everybody's different. It's crazy. Like, I love cilantro, but there are like 10% of the population that think cilantro tastes like soap. My mom is one of those people. Thankfully, my sister and I didn't get that weird cilantro soap gene because we both love cilantro so much. But I look forward, Ralph, to the spicy peppers, and I'll let you know if I can get them to grow and how they do. So I'll keep you posted on that. All right, show me your MC. New pictures to show you this week. Mark wearing his Cocktails in the War Room shirt out running. That's marathon training running, right, Mark? And also, I got to see Tracy at the Woo Sox home opener. She had her Cocktails in the War Room shirt on, posted the picture up, and this is Tracy at the Woo Sox home opener on Friday with her Cocktails in the War Room shirt on as well. So keep the Show Me Your MC pictures coming. I absolutely love getting them. I love seeing where you guys are taking the pictures. I love seeing you guys showing off the stuff that you're getting out of the store. And I love putting the pictures up on the War Room and also on the gallery on Facebook. And there is going to be coming fairly soon a gallery up on mistresscarrie.com showing off all the pictures as well. Mark says, who is that handsome devil? Yeah, exactly. Eric says, hey guys, I have to leave. The baseball game is on right now. Go ahead, Eric, do your thing. Ring of Fire was about the afterburn from too much spicy food. Ha ha ha. Your pickles are good and I don't like hot. Well, Auntie Ange, I've given you some of the spicy hot pickles, but some of the other ones, I don't know if I gave you those. Those are hot, but I do make killer pickles for sure. All right. If you're celebrating your birthday today, first of all, happy birthday. If you're celebrating your birthday on April 4th, happy birthday. You see my hand over here? It's because Wednesday's in my lap and she won't stop clawing me to pet her. If you're celebrating your birthday today, you share your birthday with Gary Moore, also with Barry Oakley, and with Muddy Waters. So cheers to anybody celebrating their birthday today. Happy unbirthday, Keith. Cheers to you guys. Right, Wednesday, we'll be celebrating your birthday next week, right? 1 week away from being 5. It's crazy. You're such a little nugget. Snuggle bug. All right. Want to remind you guys about the Mistress Carrie backstage passes. I will let you guys know if you have a backstage pass when we're going to be getting together at the end of this month for our monthly exclusive live stream. When I book podcast guests, I also let you guys know so that you can submit podcast interview questions. When I hit the road, I give you travel blog updates, early access to event tickets, exclusive concert ticket giveaways. If you have a backstage pass, you have exclusive access to Enslaved tickets, to Tarja tickets, and just added this week, tickets to the big gig. So if you have a Mistress Carrie backstage pass, you know how to put in for the tickets. If you don't have a backstage pass, go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie or click the Patreon button at mistresscarrie.com. And just as a reminder of all of the places that you guys can find me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Cameo, YouTube, and Patreon. And I also want to remind you guys that I have a page on the Pike FM app, and the Mistress Carrie podcast has been added to the Bones app. And also there'll be a Mistress Carrie page on the Bone app as well. So there are a ton of ways for you guys to be able to hit me up. So all of those are linked, by the way, at mistresscarrie.com as well. So there you go. Right, Wednesday? Are we good? Huh? Getting ready for your birthday next week? Huh? You ready to be 5? This is what we do. This is what she does. How am I supposed to say no when she looks at me like that? Look at her. Right? You just look at me and you're like, please, Mommy, can I have whatever it is that you're eating? It looks so delicious. Mark says, Carrie in the bone zone. Melissa says, this isn't a radio show. You can listen to her on the radio on the Pike. No, I'm on the Pike from 3 to 7, Melissa, every afternoon. And let's see. Look at Wednesday's face, says Jonathan. Wednesday needs a birthday cake and dog ice cream. I am working on it, Jessica. We're also working on some balloons and maybe a party hat or something. Right? Huh? Definitely dog ice cream. We'll see if we can get a dog cake, but definitely dog ice cream. Give her some of my treats, says Ralph. Fine, Ralph. Just because you said it, I will give her some of your treats. All right, Wednesday. Back up. Come over here. No, over here. Come here. I'm going to put your camera back on so you can come over here. Come on. Over here. Sit down. Sit. 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 Good girl. There you go. You want to try one of Ralph's treats? Is that good? Yep. She's eating it. Thank you, Ralph. Brianna says you're going to have a merch table at the meetup next month, right? At the Legion? Yes, 100%. Let's see. Wednesday says she wants more treats. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Wednesday's going to eat her treats. I am going to get going and work on some stuff for tomorrow. I'm actually still doing some rewiring in MCHQ, getting ready for the show on the bone as well. So lots going on, and I'll see you guys next week. But was that good? Was that good? Ralph, as you can see, it lasted a really long time. Want to try one of Ralph's treats? What is the last thing she heard before she was pulled into the plain white van, Keith says. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, I will see you later. Don't forget, episode 148 of the Mistress Carrie podcast featuring Dave Perner from Soul Asylum goes live at midnight tonight. Wednesday, say goodnight. Say goodnight. I don't even know why I have your camera on. You're not even in your camera. You're in my camera now. Say goodnight. Good night, everybody.